Have you tried everything to convince someone to stay by your side, but it seems the more you insist, the further away they get? This happens because most of the time, the more you chase after someone, the more they feel in control, and that, without realizing it, pushes them away. The pain of feeling rejected, of trying to be noticed, is something that consumes you. But here's the secret. Instead of trying to convince, focus on yourself. Invest in your growth, your happiness, your achievements. When you shine, you attract. People are naturally drawn to those who are confident in themselves. In this video, you'll discover how to stop chasing and start attracting effortlessly. When you stop pouring all your energy into others and start investing in yourself, things change. Instead of trying to convince someone of your worth, show that worth through your actions, through your personal growth. You'll realize that people are naturally attracted to those who are happy with themselves. And that's the key. Stop seeking external validation and focus on being the best version of yourself. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Every week, I bring you transformative content. Also, I want to remind you, if you struggle with procrastination and it's holding you back in life, click on the first pinned comment and download my ebook, Overcome Procrastination with Stoic Philosophy, the definitive guide to success. Click on the first pinned comment and start turning your life around today. Let's begin. How many times in your life have you found yourself chasing after someone, trying to convince them to be with you? Whether it's in a romantic relationship, at work, or even in friendships, the feeling of needing to prove your worth can be exhausting, can't it? The good news is that this approach is completely wrong, and today, I'm going to show you how to change it. Stop chasing. Don't try to convince anyone. Instead, think of yourself as a Stoic magnet. Imagine a magnet. It doesn't go around desperately trying to attract objects. It simply exists, firm, with its silent strength, and objects are naturally drawn to it. That's how you need to see yourself, as a calm, confident, and centered presence. When you cultivate your own inner peace and confidence, the people around you begin to notice this energy without you having to make an effort to convince them. This shift in mindset begins when you stop focusing on others and start investing in yourself. And here's the most important part. No one can resist authentic confidence. People who are secure in themselves attract others with their serenity, with their posture of not needing to prove anything to anyone. It's not about being arrogant, but about being so comfortable with yourself that others sense this security and want to be near you. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, true transformation begins within you. Now let's take a moment to reaffirm this commitment. Say out loud with me, "I am a Stoic magnet." By saying this, you are declaring your intention to abandon the role of the pursuer, of the person who begs for others' attention. Instead, you assume the role of someone who inspires, who attracts by simply being who they are, without needing to force anything. It may seem simple, but this shift in mentality is powerful. Think for a moment. How would your life be if you stopped trying to convince others to be with you? If you simply existed as your best self and allowed others to be drawn to your energy? This not only lifts the burden of having to prove something, but it also puts you in control of yourself. After all, those who are in control of their own lives naturally draw the attention of others. There is nothing more attractive than someone who knows themselves and is at peace with their choices. And this applies to everything: relationships, work, friendships. From the moment you become aware of your value, the game changes entirely. Those you once tried to persuade will realize they don't need convincing. They will want to be with you because your energy speaks louder than any words. And remember, this confidence isn't something you acquire overnight. It's a process of self-discovery and self-care. The more you invest in your inner peace, the more magnetism you will develop. One story that inspires me is that of Socrates, the great Greek philosopher. He never tried to convince anyone of his ideas. He simply lived according to his principles. questioning himself and the world around him. His presence was so strong that, even without forcing his beliefs, he attracted disciples and followers. People wanted to learn from him because they felt the power of his wisdom, his tranquility in the face of adversity. This is the kind of presence you want to cultivate, a presence that is secure, that doesn't need external approval. And it all starts with how you see yourself. Ask yourself, what is so strong, so authentic about me that it attracts others without me having to try? That is your starting point. Now that you understand the importance of being this Stoic magnet, let's dive into one of the fundamental principles of Stoicism: control over your thoughts. This is the true key to freeing yourself from the need for external approval and the constant search for attention. And believe me, this change not only transforms the way others see you, but also profoundly changes the way you see yourself. Think for a moment. How many times have you wasted time and energy worrying about what others think of you? Trying to please, seeking validation, or even shaping your actions to gain someone's approval? All of this happens because at some point you gave up control over your thoughts. And when that happens, you also lose control over yourself. The philosopher Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic references, said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and it is achieved by ignoring what we cannot control." And what does he mean by this? It's simple. True freedom, the peace of mind you so deeply seek, is not found in pleasing others or in gaining their attention. It lies, in fact, in focusing on what you can control, your thoughts and your reactions. Imagine for a moment how much lighter your life would be if you could ignore others' opinions and expectations. If you could live according to what you believe, without feeling the need to convince anyone. This is the true power of mental control. When you master your thoughts, you become unshakable. Nothing outside of you can truly affect you, because what matters is your perception, the way you choose to react. And this is where your true power lies, your reactions. You can't control how people will act or think, but you can control how you will respond to those actions and thoughts. This gives you incredible freedom, because suddenly you are no longer a puppet to the whims and opinions of others. You are the master of yourself. For example, imagine being in a situation where someone unjustly criticizes you. If you don't control your thoughts, that criticism can consume you. You could spend hours or even days trying to prove you're right, seeking that person's approval. But if you practice control over your thoughts, you realize that this criticism is beyond your control. You can't change what others think, but you can change how it affects you. You can choose not to react, or to react in a way that reflects your own inner power. This is the great lesson of Stoicism. True strength lies within you, and it is activated when you stop worrying about what is beyond your control. There's no point in trying to control what others think, how they react, or what they say. The only thing you can truly control is your mind, and the moment you master this principle, you become free. Now I want you to reflect. In what situations in your life have you lost control of your thoughts? When have you allowed others' opinions to affect you more than they should have? Think about it and share it in the comments, because once you recognize these situations, you can begin to change the way you react. This is the true essence of Stoicism, mental freedom. You free yourself from the chains of others' opinions when you understand that what they think, say, or do does not define who you are. And as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So the next time you feel tempted to chase after someone or a situation that seems out of your control, take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I in control of my thoughts? If the answer is no, it's time to take back the reins. Because in the end, it is your thoughts and your reactions that define who you are and the energy you project to the world. Another crucial element that often prevents us from achieving the freedom and confidence we speak of is fear. Fear is the greatest enemy of progress. And no matter how much we try to deny it, it is often behind our most desperate actions. Whether it's the fear of losing someone or the fear of being rejected, it has the power to make us act in ways completely out of character, distancing us from who we really are. How many times has fear made you change your stance, act anxiously, or even beg for someone's attention. The fear of losing can make you cling desperately to situations or people who often aren't even healthy for you. And the more you show that fear, the more people distance themselves. Because fear transmits insecurity, and that insecurity creates an energy that drives people away. Here's the big mindset shift. What if, instead of fearing, you focused on your own growth and well-being? Think about it. When you are centered on becoming a better version of yourself, fear loses its power. Because fear only exists when we place our value in the hands of others. When you stop seeking that external validation and start focusing on your own development, fear loses control over you. It becomes irrelevant because you're no longer trying to control what's outside of you. You're investing in who you are within. Letting go of fear is one of the greatest acts of courage. It transforms you into a confident, self-assured person and automatically more attractive. Think of an everyday situation. Imagine someone walking into a room full of people, head held high, calm, aware of their value. Now compare that image to someone entering anxiously, seeking approval, looking around, waiting for some sort of validation. Who do you think stands out more? Who is more memorable? Of course, it's the confident person, the one who isn't concerned with being accepted, but rather with feeling comfortable within themselves. That confidence is magnetic, and it is born when you let go of fear and focus on your personal growth. Because at the end of the day, people are drawn to those who know who they are, to those who are at peace with themselves. No one wants to be around someone who lives in fear, constantly seeking to be accepted or validated. But everyone wants to be around someone who naturally exudes confidence and security. And to get to that point, it's essential to understand that fear is not something that simply disappears. It will always exist to some degree. The secret is not to let it control you. Instead of worrying about what others think, focus on how you can grow, on how you can improve your life, your mind, your emotions. Fear dissolves when you realize that your worth does not lie in anyone's opinion, but in who you choose to be every day. This is where we return to Stoicism. One of the key principles of Stoic philosophy is that our power lies in controlling our reactions, not the circumstances. Fear is just a reaction. If you control how you react to fear, if you decide that it won't have the power to guide your actions, you free yourself from it. And once again, Epictetus enlightens us. What disturbs men is not things, but the opinions they have about them. In other words, fear only has as much power over you as you allow it to have. Remember, the more you focus on your own growth, the smaller fear becomes, and the more you grow, the more attractive your energy becomes. You stop being that person who chases, who despairs for attention, and become someone who naturally attracts the admiration and respect of others. That's what makes someone truly magnetic. If there's something we can never get back, it's time. Time is our most precious asset. And yet, we often waste it on people who don't value it. Why would you reorganize your life around someone who only gives you half their attention? Think for a moment. You're investing the most valuable thing you have in someone who doesn't even care to be fully present for you. Does that make sense? Being a Stoic magnet means, first and foremost, valuing your own time. And that starts with the conscious choice of where you place your energy and attention. When you spend time with someone who doesn't appreciate your presence, you're sending yourself the message that your time, and therefore your life, isn't worth much. And that's the root of many frustrations and disappointments in relationships. By insisting on giving your time to someone who doesn't deserve it, you're creating a cycle of dissatisfaction, waiting for something that will never happen. The appreciation from someone who's not willing to give you the attention you deserve. Stoicism teaches us that we shouldn't waste our time on things outside our control, and the behavior of others is completely beyond our reach. What you can control is where you decide to invest your energy. If you want to be someone who attracts genuine respect and attention, start by respecting your own time. Stop adjusting it to please someone who doesn't reciprocate in the same way. Those who truly care about you will make a conscious effort to be present in your life. How many times have you canceled plans, postponed personal projects, or changed your routine to fit into someone's life who only gave you attention when it was convenient for them? And what did you get in return? Most of the time, devaluation. That's because when you don't value your time, others won't either. What we're willing to tolerate is exactly what others will reflect back to us. Therefore, it's time to redefine your priorities. And how do we do this? The answer is simple. Invest in yourself. If you want to be that stoic magnet who naturally attracts attention and respect, you need to put your time and energy into what truly matters: your own growth. The time you spend with someone who doesn't value your presence could be used to learn something new, to improve your physical or mental health, or even to connect with people who genuinely care about you. When you value your time and make yourself a priority, others will begin to notice. And here's the big secret: those who truly want to be in your life will make a conscious effort to do so. People who genuinely appreciate you won't treat you as a second option or someone to be seen only when it's convenient. They will respect and value your time just as you respect theirs. And this brings us to the essential question: with whom are you spending your time? Are you surrounded by people who give you their full attention, who value and respect you? Or are you constantly adjusting your life around those who only show up from time to time when it's convenient for them? It's time to reflect on this and, perhaps, make some changes. Epictetus teaches us that the key to a well-lived life is to focus on what's within our control, and the time you dedicate is something completely within your control. So ask yourself, where do you want to invest this precious resource? How can you start valuing your time more, and consequently attract people who do the same? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you been valuing your time as you should? What could you change in your routine to ensure your time is better spent? This is one of the most important transformations you can make, and I want to know how you plan to put it into practice. Remember, those who truly care about you will make an effort to be part of your life. There's no need to chase after anyone, to try to adjust or reorganize your entire life around someone who only gives you fragments of attention. You deserve people who value you fully, and that starts with you, valuing your own time. Now we've reached an essential point in becoming a true Stoic magnet: detachment. Perhaps when you hear this word, you think that detachment means no longer caring about people, but that's far from the truth. Detachment is actually a shift in perspective, where you still care about others but you don't rely on them for your happiness. This gives you an incredible emotional freedom. Epictetus, one of the great masters of Stoicism, said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." This quote teaches us that the control we have over life is limited. We can control our actions, our reactions, and our thoughts, but we cannot control how those around us will behave or what will happen in the outside world. And this is where the power of detachment comes in. When you adopt detachment, you stop trying to control everything around you. And, surprisingly, by doing so, you free yourself from a huge burden of emotional stress. Think of all the times you've felt frustrated or anxious because something didn't go as planned, or because someone didn't act the way you expected. This happens because, in some way, we are attached to an expectation. We expect things to happen exactly as we imagine them. But the reality is that the world is unpredictable, and people, like circumstances, are beyond our control. When you detach from these expectations, you not only find more peace but also become a much more attractive person. This is because detachment conveys a sense of calm and security. People around you notice that you're not desperately trying to control or please them. On the contrary, you are at peace with yourself, regardless of what happens. Here's the key: detachment doesn't mean indifference. You can and should still care about people, but the difference is that your happiness doesn't depend on what they do or don't do. You begin to understand that everyone has their own path, and you have yours. And it's this acceptance that gives you freedom. Think of situations in your life where you tried to control the outcome, in a relationship, where you wanted the other person to act in a certain way, or in a project, where you expected a specific result. Now think about how those situations left you anxious or frustrated when they didn't go as planned. That's attachment in action. Attachment to expectations, attachment to control, and it's precisely this that creates emotional stress. But when you practice detachment, You begin to see things from a new perspective. You do the best you can with what's in your hands, but you accept that the rest is out of your control. As Epictetus reminds us, you do what you can with what's in your power, but let the rest happen as it should. And that, my friends, is freedom. Let's think of a practical example. Imagine you're in a relationship and you really want the other person to reciprocate your affection in the same way you show it. If you're attached to that expectation, every gesture or word that doesn't match your idealization frustrates you, makes you feel rejected, or even outraged. But if you practice detachment, you understand that the other person's behavior is not under your control. You can continue to show your affection, but without the need for something in return. And this completely transforms your emotional experience. By detaching, you start to live more lightly. Things flow more naturally. Emotional stress decreases because you're no longer trying to force outcomes. And paradoxically, the less you try to control, the more things fall into place. This is because you're living with acceptance, not resistance. Detachment is not about stopping caring. It's about stopping the attempt to control what is beyond your reach. And by doing this, you become lighter, more confident, and freer. As Marcus Aurelius teaches us, you have power over your mind, not external events. This is the essence of detachment, accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can control. And from this stance, your life transforms. Now that we've talked about detachment and the power of focusing on what's within your control, let's discuss a force that is as simple as it is powerful: gratitude. In the world we live in, it's very easy to fall into the trap of focusing on what we lack, on what we don't have, or on what we still want to achieve. But this scarcity mindset pulls us away from the present, and more importantly, from the good things that are already around us. When you focus on what you already have instead of what's missing, something magical happens. You start to realize that your life is, in fact, far more abundant than you thought. And this simple act of being thankful for the little things creates a positive energy around you. And guess what? That energy naturally attracts people. Be honest. Are you more inclined to be around someone who's always complaining and focusing on what's missing, or someone who is always grateful for the good things in life, both big and small? The answer is obvious. Grateful people emit a different kind of energy. They live in the present. They appreciate what they have, and that instantly makes them more attractive. Gratitude isn't just about being satisfied with what you materially possess, but also about recognizing the value in the little things: a sunny day, a smile from a stranger, the simple fact of being healthy. When you adopt this mindset, the world around you feels lighter and more vibrant, and people notice it. Imagine for a moment a person who is always focused on what they don't have. Maybe they want a relationship, a better job, more money. Their attitude is often one of dissatisfaction and anxiety. Now think of someone who, even while striving for improvement in life, remains grateful for what they've already achieved. This person exudes an inner peace, a lightness that draws attention. And here's the secret. Gratitude is a powerful magnet. When you start to acknowledge and be thankful for everything you already have, you emit such a positive vibe that the people around you are drawn to it. This doesn't mean you should stop seeking improvements or wanting more for your life, but that you should first recognize the value of what's already present on your path. Moreover, living in the present is one of the best ways to practice gratitude. We're often so focused on the future, on the next goal, that we forget to enjoy what we've already accomplished. Being present is a skill that allows us to clearly see what we have around us. And when you live in the moment, gratitude becomes almost automatic. Epictetus taught us that we should be thankful for what we have, as everything we have is a gift from life, and everything we lack can still be attained. In other words, by recognizing the value of the present, you make room for more good things to come into your life, without that constant anxiety and dissatisfaction. Now, think about your life today. What things can you be grateful for right now? It could be something as simple as the opportunity to read and reflect on this content, or something bigger, like having a family or friends who support you. Whatever it is, acknowledging these things will help you shift your mindset and start attracting more of what you desire, because the energy you project changes completely. This change in perspective, focusing on abundance rather than scarcity, not only transforms you into a happier and more fulfilled person, but also draws people into your life. We all want to be around those who make us feel good, who live with lightness and gratitude. And the more you practice this mindset, the more you become that person. Remember, gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to change your vibration and attract good things into your life. By living in the present and being grateful for the good things around you, you automatically become more attractive. And people will notice that. After all, who wouldn't want to be near someone who radiates peace, joy, and gratitude? On our journey to becoming a Stoic magnet, one of the greatest challenges we face is controlling our emotions, especially in moments of anger or frustration. We've all been in situations where we've been overwhelmed by these feelings, reacting impulsively, and later regretting it. But here's the secret. When you learn to control your emotions, you project an inner strength that is incredibly attractive. In moments of anger, frustration, or any intense emotion, it's essential to pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is it worth losing my peace over this? Most of the time, the answer will be no. The small irritations of daily life, someone's poorly chosen words, or even the frustrations we face at work or in relationships, often don't deserve for us to sacrifice our inner peace. When you can stay calm in those moments, you not only protect your peace, but also demonstrate incredible strength. And that strength is noticed by the people around you. Imagine the impact of being the person who, even in tense moments, manages to stay serene, centered, and responds with clarity and calmness. People are naturally drawn to those who have this ability, as it shows control, wisdom, and maturity. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "He who is brave and free controls his emotions and conquers freedom." And what did he mean by that? He reminds us that true courage is not in reacting impulsively, but in staying calm in the face of adversity. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring them, but rather learning to handle them in a healthy and conscious way. That's freedom, because when your emotions don't control you, you are free to choose how to respond to any situation. Think of all the times you've lost your peace over something small. Perhaps it was an argument with a colleague, a fight at home, or even something trivial like someone cutting you off in traffic. How did you feel afterwards? Most of the time, when the dust settles, we realize that the anger or frustration wasn't worth it. Those moments drain our energy and leave us emotionally exhausted. But when you choose not to react impulsively, you preserve your energy and keep your peace intact. This ability to control your emotions not only protects you from emotional exhaustion, but also makes you a more attractive person. People who can remain calm in stressful or conflict situations are seen as reliable, wise, and strong. They exude an inner confidence that attracts others. After all, who wouldn't want to be around someone who is a rock of tranquility amidst the chaos? Here's a practical exercise you can start applying today. The next time you feel overwhelmed by anger or frustration, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? Give yourself a few seconds to reflect before reacting. Often, just that brief pause is enough for you to realize that the situation isn't as serious as it seems in the heat of the moment. And that pause can make all the difference. Now, I invite you to reflect. What were the last situations in which you lost your peace? And if you could go back in time, what would you do differently? Share your reflections in the comments, because this practice of self-analysis is fundamental to our personal growth. Remember, true power lies in controlling your emotions, not the other way around. When you manage to do this, you not only achieve lasting inner peace, but also become someone that others admire and respect. As Seneca said, true courage is in controlling your emotions. That's what gives us the freedom to live fully, without being slaves to our impulsive reactions. Now that you have all the tools and strategies at hand, it's time to let everything flow. The journey to becoming a true Stoic magnet is a continuous process. It doesn't happen overnight, but with every step you take, your habits grow stronger and your confidence becomes unshakable. Remember, it's not about perfection, but about progress. Every mistake or stumble you encounter along the way is an opportunity to learn. If you make a mistake, acknowledge it, and move forward. The beauty of this journey lies in becoming a stronger, more conscious, and more attractive person with every challenge overcome. Now, I want you to do an exercise with me. Write in the comments, "I am a Stoic magnet." Let these words echo in your mind and heart, because from this moment on, you are reaffirming your intention to live according to the principles we've discussed here. If you've made it this far, it means you are committed to improving, and that already puts you ahead of most people. Stay on this path and watch how your life begins to transform. People around you will notice the change, but more importantly, you will feel the difference. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with someone who might benefit from these ideas. Let us know in the comments how you plan to apply these principles in your life. I'd love to hear about your journey and follow your progress. And of course, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos, where we'll be bringing you more valuable tips to help you become an even stronger and more confident version of yourself. See you in the next video, and remember, you have the power to attract what you desire, simply by choosing who you want to be. I am a Stoic magnet, and so can you.